Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're back with what if Morgan stayed with Rick in The Walking Dead. So let's get into it. We start off by seeing a man named Otis just out in the forest hunting for some food, running into some walkers but killing them because I don't really know why he killed. Obviously I know why he killed them. I just added that in because obviously there's walkers in the woods. Because the group are gonna end up there soon, but that's not the point. But then walkers start coming, and this would freak Otis out a little. He ends up killing a little, but he can't kill all of them, so Otis runs a little, and he eventually runs into a couple people. He sees a man, and that's obviously Glenn right there. And Glenn starts waving at him to come to him. And Otis is just confused, but when he looks to the other side, he sees the highway full of walkers where the group are. And Otis quickly hides with Glenn. But then Morales' daughter, Eliza, gets freaked out, and she starts running into the forest from how many walkers there are. And after the horde leaves, Morales and Daryl and also Shane and also our friend Ricky, aka Rick, and Merle all run to the forest because, I think they're the strongest in the group. So I'm pretty sure they would be the ones running in the forest to look for Eliza. Well, Morales isn't really strong, but that's not the point. Because that's his daughter, obviously, so. The group go in the forest, and they look for Eliza. Meanwhile, at the highway, the group are just staying there, but they're starting to question Otis and why he was out here. Otis says he's hunting for something, and he was hunting for animals to eat, and he says he stays at a farm and they could stay there if they want to. Jim says that that's a good deal, and he says even if he is lying, they should just check the farm out, because either way, he was out hunting alone, meaning that they probably don't have many people. And even if he does, he says he's pretty sure that we still would have the numbers and the ammo and the ammunition and stuff. And Dale would agree with Jim, because him and Jim were always the two people who were always trying to do good. Well, in episode 3 of season 1, Jim wasn't really doing much good, but yeah, that's fine still. Because him and Dale were kind of buddies, because you did see them a lot together for the time Jim was alive. And we'd see Ed, who tells everybody to shut up, and he grabs Dale by his shirt, and he says if he says one more word, he will smash his head in, because it's probably because he finds him annoying, which Dale was not annoying. He's actually a pretty reasonable guy, but Glenn, he's not having this, and Glenn pushes Ed off, and he aims his gun at Ed, and Ed wouldn't really have any reactions to this. He'd just be afraid, and he'd back up, and Otis tries calming down the situation, and he says, you guys should all come to the farm, check it out, and if you don't want to stay, you don't have to. But it's worth looking, because it's safe, they have fences, they grow food, and they have a place where they can possibly stay. And Rick comes back with the others, basically the ones who went with him, Shane and also Daryl and also Merle and also Morales. And Dale asks what happened to Eliza, and Rick would tell him they found her bitten and they had to put her down. And overall, that's just kind of sad because she was a kid. But Morgan would tell them about the farm and what Otis told them. And he says it's worth taking a look. So the group obviously go to the farm. And what they see is pretty good, actually. And they find 5 people. First up's being a kid named Jimmy and a woman named Patricia, who's Otis's wife, and a guy named Herschel who owns the farm, and Herschel's daughter Maggie, and Herschel's other daughter Beth. And the group liked this place a lot, and they want to stay, and Herschel has a good spot for them. And so Shane, he points at their barn and asks what's in there because he's just curious because he hasn't gone that crazy yet because of Carl getting shot, and he hasn't killed Otis. So Herschel says that just animals, nothing really, but you guys will need to stay away from there because there are a couple animals that could kick you out or like hurt you basically. And Dale would ask, what type of animals are they? And Morgan would get in the conversation and say, yeah, we should know for the best, because like they have kids in the group, like 4 or 5 kids, I think. Yeah, I think it's 5. So, they can't really be on like this. Rick says that they should just get settled in the camp, because like these people were nice enough to give them a place to stay, which people are not that nice nowadays. And the group get a camp near the farm, like 30 feet away. Like, that's not that far. But the group are still curious about that barn, because it made some weird noises, but who cares, really? Glenn and Maggie still get in a relationship. And we'd see Dr. Jenner, who's really not a doctor anymore, but he's trying to, like, help the group out in any case. And, like, so he's talking with Merle to, like, ask him what his childhood was, like, how his job was. And he talks with Merle. Merle would tell him about how his mom died and how his dad was abusive to him and Daryl, and how he was in the army before the outbreak. And he'd just say that it weren't easy for him, and eventually he became a drug dealer after he got kicked out of the army. And Dr. Jenner would try to comfort Merle because, well, he seems pretty depressed overall. And Merle usually, in some of my stories, he does make it to the farm and sometimes doesn't. So yeah, it is kind of good for him to be in the farm at the story, because I have a lot for Merle to do in this story, and a lot of other characters that survived from season 1, because people are gonna live much longer in this. But when it becomes nighttime, we see my guy Daryl, who's going to check the barn, and when he goes to check the barn, what he sees doesn't look very good to him. He sees a barn filled with something that's not animals. It's a barn filled with walkers. And the walkers, Daryl isn't really scared of them. He knows that he can't just leave the barn seeing this, so he starts killing a couple of the walkers with a chain, I guess, that I just showed you guys. And he kills many of the walkers one by one, but then the walkers eventually outnumber Daryl, so eventually Daryl has to leave, and that will be it for today, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you guys think about Daryl finding out about the walkers and killing some of them already. And since Eliza's dead and Sophia wasn't the one who got caught in the farm, and Eliza already died from what Daryl saw and the others, this means that Herschel would come out more crazier to the group. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye-bye.